So as the days go by, the Jonathan Taylor situation just keeps getting worse, honestly. Today, we were given tons of new information on JT. Of course, we know a couple days ago that he was placed on the PUP list. He will miss the first 4 weeks of the regular season. And if we break down just the schedule for the first weeks, it's pretty tough. You have Jacksonville week 1, Houston week 2, Baltimore week 3, Rams week 4. That is a pretty tough setup for Anthony Richardson. I mean, the easiest team is going to be the Houston Texans. Even then, it's going to be a tough matchup too because both teams are facing off with rookie quarterbacks, but also both defenses are going to be, it's going to be tough to go against as well. And of course, we all know Jacksonville's going to be a top team in the AFC. Same thing for Baltimore. NFC for the Rams, they are hoping to bounce back, and I think they will be better than they were last year. Just injury riddled. They will bounce back. So it's definitely it makes it very difficult for Anthony Richardson. And again, the whole situation for Jonathan Taylor, it just keeps getting worse between him and the owner, honestly. This Colts GM says Jonathan Taylor's situation sucks, maintains hope the relationship is repairable. Now, off the bat, I can say this is not repairable whatsoever. Not because of the GM's fault, the coach's fault, it's between him and the owner. At the end of the day, we all know the owner makes a final decision and he gets what he wants. And if he wants him out the door, he's going to go out the door. If he wants him to stay, he'll stay. If he wants him to sit out, he'll sit out. It's whatever the owner wants, he'll get. So it's not really up to the GM. I get he has to put out a story. He has to put out something of hope to Colts fans and the people across the media of some resemblance of, hey, we can repair this. I don't think there's no way to me that they can repair this. Jonathan Taylor will be playing his final year as a Colt this year, and there's a chance that maybe he won't even finish the entire year. Last year may have been his last full year with the Colts. He may get traded off somewhere else if they get desperate towards the trade deadline. Of course, we scroll down. Jonathan Taylor has made it clear he wants no part of the Colts anymore. Indianapolis believes it can still save the relationship between the star and the team. Once again, I don't see this. It's very far from that. Maybe they could have done this early on before the comments from the owner, and they were able to try and get some negotiations done. If those comments were made before all that happened, I would say, okay, there's a chance that they could do this. But after everything that's just gone on, I don't see this. It's the day after the Colts failed to find a trade partner for Taylor, saying the Colts running back to the PUP list. General Manager Chris Ballard decreed the situation as one that sucks for all parties, but maintained that he believes the relationship can still be salvaged. It cannot. Once again, we keep saying over and over again. And for the trades, they were extremely unrealistic. We had two trade partners that they were given. Of course, we have the Miami Dolphins, who've been, obviously, wide reported of trying to get Jonathan Taylor. There was another mystery team, was the Green Bay Packers, which is pretty surprising that they would go after him regardless. You have Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon, which is a great 1-2 running back combo, and definitely probably the best, or one if not the best of a 1-2 tandem out there. I think A.J. Dillon is a underrated running back. I don't think they use him as enough, and he would be a great a great running back one for any team if he was given the opportunity. So I don't see where the angle comes from for Jonathan Taylor. I mean, of course, you go back to Wisconsin, but again, I just don't see where he fits in that roster. But it was pretty interesting, the offers that they were given. We kind of get to scroll down to. I'll get to a second. Both for the Dolphins and the Green Bay Packers, what the Colts were asking for Jonathan Taylor. It says the mystery team has been revealed in the short-lived Jonathan Taylor sweepstakes in the wake of the Indianapolis Colts allowing the star running back to seek a trade last week. The Miami Dolphins were largely linked to Taylor as most likely landing spot. However, there were plenty of reports that noted multiple teams were interested in potentially acquiring him, but they were not named specifically. Well, we know now at least one other club that tried to poach him leading up to Indy's self-imposed deadline, the Packers. The Green Bay Packers was in talks with Indianapolis, and had legitimate interest in trading for Taylor. Again, I just don't see where he fits in. No doubt, you're going to have to go one of the running backs, which are, again, if you're looking at it from an age perspective and also money, it's probably gonna be AJ Dillon if I had to choose. And personally, for me, if I had to choose, I would go with AJ Dillon over Aaron Jones. It might sound crazy to say, but I think just moving forward, building blocks, I think I would prefer AJ Dillon. Let's see here. The exact package that the Packers were offering for the Colts was not immediately known, and it's also unclear what their level of interest in Taylor was going forward. Of course, Taylor ultimately not traded and was placed on physically unable to perform list on Tuesday by the Colts, meaning that he will be sidelined for at least the first 4 weeks of the regular season. Still, Taylor can be traded even if he's on the PUP list, and reports notes that there's maintained interest in Taylor around the league. Former All-Pro back would probably still welcome a trade as well. So now getting to this report on Twitter, and if I can find I'm pretty sure I saved them. If I can find the post, I will put them on screen right now, so it's not me making this up. So, but for the Dolphins. For the Dolphins, it was reported that they were asking. Now it says here Dolphins never made an offer, but reports said that the Colts were trying to ask for Jalen Waddle for Jonathan Taylor, which obviously anybody would laugh at that. They would not accept it whatsoever. Jalen Waddle is an amazing wide receiver. Definitely by far one of the best wide receiver 2s, and is definitely a quality wide receiver 1 for some teams. There's no question that teams would pick Jalen Waddle over Jonathan Taylor. It's not a knock on Jonathan Taylor, but situation wise, I would even from my team's perspective, I would take Jalen Waddle over Jonathan Taylor. And then for the Green Bay Packers, which again, if I can find the post, I will post on screen now to show it. For rumors, at least, again, not official, but rumors that the Colts were asking for. See, AJ Dillon, which again, not surprising. Christian Watson and a first-round pick, presumably 2024. That is insane. Like if that is true, again, that's a rumor. If that is true, that's crazy. Where do they get the value from the Packers? Looking at perspective, saying we want AJ Dillon, Christian Watson, and a first. Jonathan Taylor is good. He is not that good. If this was prime Derrick Henry, I could somewhat see that. But this is, even though Jonathan Taylor had an amazing season back in 2021, Offensive Player of the Year, had over 1,800 yards, I believe around over 15 touchdowns. I think it was around 17, 18, but definitely past 15 touchdowns. Even then, you can't get that. Even with a prime Derrick Henry, if you want to know the best back, teams are not going to give up that much value for Jonathan Taylor. I'm sorry, he does not, move the needle closer to, a playoff berth or a Super Bowl berth. It doesn't make sense for both the Dolphins or the Packers if both of these offers were true. It doesn't, and I can't imagine the other teams that were involved, if there were, that considered it, what they would even ask for them. It's insane. It goes back to what I said about the owner. If he wants them to stay, he'll make them stay, and this is what he's doing. He is making them ask for ridiculous offers that they know teams are not going to accept. And he put him on the PUP list, so he misses the first 4 weeks, and by doing so, decreases his value, which screws over the GM and coach trying to salvage something from it, even if if it comes down to true that Jonathan Taylor doesn't want to be here anymore, and you have to move off him because this is his final year of his deal. You are screwing the team over, the GM, the new head coach, of getting any value off him. It was going to be pretty difficult before all this because of him being a running back and the contract being up, and now adding all this on top of it. You can't get you can't get any value for him. Again, especially put in the PUP list, missing the first 4 weeks. Not the end of the world, but it decreases his value. And if you look at his contract at 2023, he is making just under $5 million. If you see, over $5 million. I paid 5.1. And in 2024, he's an unrestricted free agent. Now we'll see if everything that plays out the way it's supposed to. Of he plays out the contract and then he's a free agent in 2024. What the market's going to be, as we saw from Josh Jacobs and Saquon Barkley, only got 1-year deals, $11-12 million around that range. It could happen for Jonathan Taylor, though he's still relatively young at 25. But you look at, again, Josh Jacobs and Saquon. Saquon's a little bit older than Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs is around that same age. You see how they were treated for contracts. Only got 1 year deals. Got 11, 12 million. Won't be surprised if that happens to Jonathan Taylor if he's able to have if he's able to go to free agency. But again, it's unfortunate how the situation's being played out. And again, going back to what I said in the beginning, this hurts Anthony Richardson. As of right now, I just don't see the building blocks. If I look at the wide receiver, of course they brought back McKenzie. He was cut initially, but they brought him back. But even with him, for the top receivers, Pittman, which is a great wide receiver, Pierce in his second year, Josh Downs, rookie, and then McKenzie. Good building blocks or good receivers to have around him, but he needs more help than that, especially in the running game. As a quarterback that is struggling with accuracy and decision making, with concerns of him. Didn't play too bad in the preseason, but definitely you want to take the pressure off of him. You want a good running game. With Jonathan Taylor being out the first 4 games of the season, it puts a lot of pressure on the Colts, especially on Anthony Richardson. You look at the running backs, Zach Moss is iffy, uncertain if he's going to make a week 1 start. Of course, a few weeks ago, he broke his arm, so he did miss. The timetable was 6 weeks. There's a chance he may be available for week 1, but even if he is available, is he going to be fully healthy? Is he going to be able to, be the player, player he was before he broke his arm? That's definitely a concern. So even then, is he going to get enough volume, even if he is available? You have Deion Jackson, who has played well in small bursts and small sample sizes, but can you rely on him in 4 weeks to be the main back? Again, even if Zach Moss comes back, he's not going to be thrusted into that position getting 15, 20 carries a game. So of course Deion Jackson will probably lean on him a little bit more. And you have Evan Hall. Not a great running back room. Now they have been linked to Kareem Hunt, and they still keep in touch. So definitely watch out for that name, especially for the first 4 weeks. If he gets signed before the season starts and becomes the lead back for that, watch out for that. But at least right now, it doesn't help. I mean, even if you do sign Kareem Hunt, he is a good running back. I'm surprised he's still on free agency. He's not Jonathan Taylor. And once again, for the Colts owner, he's trying to screw over Jonathan Taylor, but by doing so, he's also screwing over the rest of the team, especially the next franchise guy, Anthony Richardson, who's supposed to be the next great guy to take over that franchise since Andrew Luck. You have a bunch of 1 year quarterbacks between Luck retiring in 2018 and now finally getting your next franchise guy, and you're already setting up him for failure. You don't have that great elite player like Jonathan Taylor to help him. If you had him on this roster week 1, it would make it so much easier for Richardson to get a feel for the game. I'm trying to think of the words. It's ease into the game. There you go. Just ease in, play confident, and so forth. It takes pressure off him because teams have to rely on stopping Jonathan Taylor, who they know, even though he had a down season, just like everyone else on the Colts team, is still an elite running back, and they have to respect him. With Jonathan Taylor off that roster, there's no respect for the running game. Even with Zach Moss, even if he comes back and he's fully healthy, teams don't respect Zach Moss. They're going to tee off on Anthony Richardson and put pressure on, because they knowing he has to throw the football. It's going to be relying on the passing game, and especially when you saw week 1 with the bad decision, the interception he had to Dane Jackson against the Bills. It was once again pressure. He was getting pressure in his face. He threw a sidearm pass, whiffed it, went past, went behind the wide receiver and right to the corner, like he was throwing like that. What the cornerback was the wide receiver he was throwing to. You're going to ruin him. And then people are going to turn into, Anthony Richardson's a bust. He's not performing well and so forth. It just makes the whole situation worse, just because of the owner's pride, because he wants to have control over this whole situation, as opposed to letting the team do its job and trying to salvage as much as they can out of Jonathan Taylor and move forward with Anthony Richardson and the team and build off of that. But instead, the owner is ruining Jonathan Taylor, the head coach, GM, everybody in this organization. It's unfortunate. It's sad to see for Colts fans. They have to go through this. with a owner that's just being selfish. Honestly, let's call it like that. He's being selfish, and again, it's very unfortunate that it's come down to that. But I'm gonna kind of wrap my thoughts around here. Again, just want to give a quick update, not quick, 15 minutes video, but an update on Jonathan Taylor, the whole situation. Again, was placed on PUP list yesterday, missing the first 4 games, and of course now the trade deadline, you want to say, for the sweepstakes is cut off. Who knows? The door's still open, no doubt, between now and the trade deadline where they might get a deal done. If it doesn't get to happen now, obviously you'll look towards getting towards the trade deadline where it's just a desperate attempt to get something out of him, similar to TJ Hawkinson. If I had to kind of compare that last year with Detroit, moving to Minnesota, got as much as they could out of him because they knew he was going to be walking out the door. Same way, Jonathan Taylor, won't be surprised if they kind of just rush around towards the trade deadline and just get something out of him. A second-round pick, a third-round pick, something to get, as opposed to just letting him walk and not getting any compensation back. But let me know your thoughts down below on the whole Jonathan Taylor situation. Do you agree how the owner's handling this? I'm sure no one does, but if you do, let me know your thoughts down below. And if he does get moved, what team do you think he will go to? Do you think he'll go to the teams listed so far, the Dolphins, Packers, or is there another team that was not mentioned? So with that being said, thank you for watching. I'll see you next one.